Hello everybody and welcome back to another Doctor Who record review on the Host Productions. In today's review I'm going to be celebrating Record Store Day 2023, taking a look at the latest Doctor Who release from the Demon Music Group. In today's review, the rather bold and incredibly vibrant The Amazing Worlds of Doctor Who, featuring multiple short stories read out by familiar Doctor Who names from two book publications released many years ago. Most notably the book of exactly the same title as the record, but also the Doctor Who annual from 1976. As always with the Doctor Who Record Store Day releases, they are of course first released in niche and small record stores throughout the UK exclusively, and I do believe if stock is available after Record Store Day, some of it does end up online eventually with said small retailers, and if there is a significant amount of stock left over, more than often after a few months, a few of them may appear on Amazon. This record is limited edition to 3,000 units, so once it is sold out, it is sold out for good, and it's one of those pieces that I definitely think falls into the category of Doctor Who oddity. A very niche release, it's essentially a collection of audiobook stories, but I think the cover art alone is something of which that stands out quite a lot and is then a very exciting addition to any Doctor Who fans' vinyl collection. Record Store Day for 2023 was actually quite an expensive one for me this year. Normally I usually get two, however this year there was quite a number of records that I was interested in, so I thought that I would actually show the other ones that I got alongside The Amazing Worlds of Doctor Who to show you that I do actually like things other than Doctor Who, and records are something that I really enjoy collecting. First record that I picked up, and I must admit the one that I actually went for really, it is the Sam Fender 7-inch record, which is bonus tracks from his album 17 Going Under, the first of which is Little Bull of Blythe, featuring a lovely picture of a dog there on the front jumping towards the camera, a lovely simplistic design, and then on the opposite side the second song is Wild Grey Ocean, featuring a lovely scenic sea view background. Now this might be a rather familiar record if you watched my review of Record Store Day from 2022, because I got a very similar looking little LP, so it's a really nice one to add to the collection. I do believe that this now means that I have the entirety of that album on record in some form, including these bonus tracks. The second other record that I picked up was the 1975 Live with the BBC Philharmonic Orchestra, and I'll hold my hands up and say this was a very spontaneous purchase. When I walked into the store, I seen it on the side, the cover art instantly grabbed my attention with that lovely vibrant blue, and the 1975 kind of have a special place in my heart because their albums were some of the first ones that I ever purchased on record, so I ended up walking out with it. Oops. However, on the back, as we turn to the tracks, there are in fact quite a number of the songs that I do really enjoy from their first two albums, kind of the golden age really for that band in my personal opinion. So yeah, it's definitely an album of throwbacks, but I'm really looking forward to listening to it with this alternative kind of live performance take. I think that Record Store Day is rather quickly becoming one of my favourite commercial events of the year. I just really enjoy the whole experience of making the commute to the store, going to the local record shop, seeing everyone queue up, that mystery of are you going to get the record that you're hoping for, and then the variety of stuff that comes out as well, although I must admit it is becoming quite an expensive hobby at the same time. Without further ado, let's go back to the main focus of this review. Due to this record being pretty much an in-store exclusive, or at least the vast majority of the stock will be sold in-store on Record Store Day, naturally this release has come wrapped in cellophane in order to protect the record sleeve itself, so this has been rather tightly fitted, and across the front we do have a sticker. Sticker is a really nice design actually, it really does in keep with the theme of the rest of the packaging, with that burnt, almost darker red background. Unlike the front of the record sleeve itself, the sticker does include the 60th anniversary variation of the Doctor Who logo, and towards the opposite side it does of course confirm that this is the Record Store Day exclusive for the 22nd of April 2023. The very centre of the sticker does provide a little bit of information as to what is presented across these two records, so they're basically some adventures from the 1970s Doctor Who annuals, read by Geoffrey Beevers, who does of course portray the Master, Louise Jameson, the Fourth Doctor's companion Leela, and Dan Starkey, who does of course infamously play Strax within new series Doctor Who. This is a 2 LP set presented across two lovely red and orange records. I know there are some record collectors out there who will be buying this simply to have it because it is a Doctor Who record regardless of the actual contents, and to be honest, if you're someone who doesn't play your records and tend to keep them sealed, this is a really lovely display piece. It's incredibly vibrant, especially with the accompaniment of that sticker there towards the bottom. I will be trying to open this as carefully as possible in order to retain that sticker. I think it is safe to say there is a lot going on. It's very much symbolic of the merchandise that we did of course see within the 70s, but also very reminiscent of the infamous Doctor Who Target novelisations. But where not best to start off with other than this absolutely gigantic and bold Doctor Who logo. Now the typeface is of course commonly associated with the infamous diamond design. This year in particular it is of course rather relevant given that this style has made a return for Doctor Who's 60th anniversary, but we don't have those 60th anniversary colours being used. Instead we have a combination of yellows, oranges and reds along with this wonderful white outline, really making it stand out. And in case that wasn't bold enough, we have the additional title emblazoned there across the top, being The Amazing World of Doctor Who, again in keeping with exactly the same style. The BBC logo is also present at the very top, and with the accompaniment of that red background, it does look a little bit BBC News-ish. What I really love about this cover art overall is despite the fact that all of these components have been taken from a book released in the 1970s, it has clearly been amended in design and shape to suit the composition of a record sleeve. This is in particular aided by the fact that we have this red border running all the way around the side. It's also kind of kept that personality of a classic Doctor Who book, of these little slogans running around the side, such as thrilling adventures in time and space. Despite the fact that there is lots of characters and energy bubbles present on this cover art, I wouldn't say it's crowded or busy or anything like that. It's a composition that is absolutely perfect and features lots of brilliant designs. Style of Chris Achilleos, who has without a doubt made a massive impact on Doctor Who design history. So in the very centre we have this absolutely gorgeous image of Tom Baker there as the Fourth Doctor, complete with his hat and scarf. Likeness and colouring is absolutely superb. In particular I really love the shading around the face. It's really captured Tom's complexion, vibrant blue piercing eyes looking off to the side, and small delicate details such as intricate curls within his hair. Towards the right there we also have the lovely Elizabeth Sladen portraying Sarah Jane with that trademark 70s very wide collar, again a lovely vibrant white. Again the likeness on that illustration is superb, lots of lovely detailing with it. I think the characters also really stand out because of this frankly bizarre background that we have going on, using lots of colours that really shouldn't work, so showing that almost comic book space-like design. To have a few light beams off to the side, as well as the TARDIS exterior box, and again this has that wonderful inaccuracy that quite a lot of Chris's work had within the Target novelisation series, so a very simplified TARDIS box where we don't have any pins or anything like that down the side here, but what we do have is some excellent detailing towards the top of the Please Public Call box signage, that lovely glowing orange lantern. But all these small planets and swirls do of course also continue throughout the rest of the cover art, so here we have a rather large concentration of purples and reds. Cyberman in the top corner is probably my favourite character presented on this cover, a really highly detailed drawing, really replicating the various components within the Cyberman's costume. Some oddities are present here as well, including those glowing red eyes, which is rather unusual, don't question it however. Also really love that blue tint that has been given to the Cyberman overall, really making that metal effect shine. In the background we also have a design that is incredibly eye-catching, reminds me of the early Target novelisation covers, the darker colour which has been used as also what looks like exploding planets scattered around behind the Cyberman. This incredibly energetic, colourful design continues across the entirety of the cover art behind the Doctor Who logo. Say the Cyberman is my favourite drawing on this cover, however the Sea Devil is also excellent. I love that dotted design that has been used to kind of replicate the Sea Devil scales. And in the other top corner we have the presence of a rather miffed looking Zygon. Again, some rather interesting colours have been used here. It's not as vibrant as the ones seen within the TV show, but I think it really works colour-wise compared to all the other characters scattered around the cover. Finally, for the main cover art, surrounded by lots of swirls and a sea of pink, we have a lovely classic series Dalek. Again, ever so slightly out of proportion. I think it would be fair to say, for example, I think the dome is ever so slightly bigger than usual. Also, incredibly beautiful drawing. I love the way that the light bounces off the Dalek. I think especially the colours surrounding it really do complement those smaller details. Also the way that the light bounces off the Dalek hemispheres, and it's just made me realise that this kind of pink yellowy background reminds me of rhubarb and custard sweets. Consideration to the contents, I do think the vast majority of customers are going to be purchasing this record solely for the artwork, and as a result it does absolutely deliver an incredibly vibrant, eye-catching cover, which I most certainly recommend adding to your record collection if it is something that suits your interests. I imagine it also will not be for everyone. An additional compliment goes towards the sleeve of the LP. The latest version of the Doctor Who logo for the 60th anniversary looks great. It really does stand out, especially that Who with that golden yellow design, and the BBC logo alongside it is also considerably smart too. The centre of the side of the sleeve repeats the title of the product, making it easy to pick out on a shelf or within a record case. And to finish off the side we have the Demon Music Group production number. So now that we've taken a look at the front cover artwork, let's flip around to the back, where we have a continuation of this rather intriguing design. I think especially compared to the front it is relatively simplistic and minimal, but I think that this works really well. Again, we have some rather unusual design choices which have taken place, which would look a little bit out of place on a modern piece of Doctor Who merchandise, but I think that really adds to the overall design of the product. I think that is quite difficult to show up on camera is that this isn't just simply a block red. There is a little bit of a gradient to the side. It does look ever so slightly darker and almost worn, especially towards the top corner here as well, which one of the most unusual design choices seen on this product is this swirly quote coming around the side here, which for some reason emanates from the Doctor's head. No idea why. Below this we have a little bit of a description about the LP's contents, and it's this moment that I realised that I purchased this vinyl without even caring what the actual contents is, because the overall cover artwork sold it alone. Current 60th anniversary Doctor Who logo, unlike the orangey logo that is seen on the front, so it's nice to have a little bit of variation on there. As per usual, all of the company information is hidden away here towards the bottom of the copyright details, as well as the barcode and the BBC and Demon Music Group logos. With regards to the actual contents of this LP release, I will be completely honest, I'm not 100% interested in the actual contents. I think the actual presentation of the record itself was enough for me to want to add this record to my collection, because overall there's just something about this design which is really vibrant and eye-catching, and it's something just a little bit different. I love the fact that it has that almost dated appearance. It's very unusual. I also have the excellent presentation of the likenesses of the Doctor from Chris Achilleos, which obviously has a very special place in Doctor Who fan hearts, because Chris Achilleos is one of the most well-known artists within the history of Doctor Who, and it's really, really exciting seeing his work being presented on a record release. Taking a closer look at the illustration of the Fourth Doctor now, this is a lovely representation of Tom Baker's early costume from season 12. There is so many details on this, and I think that the texture of the costume has been really excellently recreated. Compliments to the likes of the scarf, the way it has this lovely sort of ripple design in there, really creating that woolen texture. Equally, the colouring on this is not too over the top, it's not too vibrant, it kind of looks a bit washed out. Again, the smaller details such as the texturing on the cardigan, green cravat in the very centre as well, again not too vibrant. Lots of lovely details on the jacket, lots of creases and wrinkles. It's clear that so much love and attention has gone into this design. Even the trousers have lots of texturing, including light browns, a little bit of yellow in there as well. With basically all of Chris's work, especially throughout the Target novelisation range, there is an incredibly impressive eye for detail, and I think that he has a way of representing personality within his drawings which is just utterly unique and brilliant. I think that he's really reflected Tom Baker's energy within this drawing. There's that volume of hair picked out with lots of lovely details representing each individual curl. There we go, that's the back of the record. Overall really nice, and one of the added novelties I think to this record overall is the fact that this features illustrations rather than just regular pictures. Especially if you're a Doctor Who fan that collects lots of merch, you get so used to seeing the same pictures over and over again, and it's just so nice having a product, especially an LP, which actually features hand-drawn illustrations. So now that we've taken a look at the outside of the record sleeve, let's slide the record over and take a look on the inside. And it's really great to see that this wonderful, vibrant design continues with lots of monsters, the Doctor off to the side, as well as a few quotes and a little bit of additional text. I'm unsure if it's intentional or not, who knows, maybe I'm a human seeing patterns and things that aren't there. I do believe that this design is very reminiscent of that Making of Doctor Who book from many years ago that was released alongside the Target series. But let's take a look at some of the smaller details scattered around the sleeve. Starting off in the bottom corner, we have some lovely Gallifreyan text, as well as the K1 robot in a red background. Above this, a very sharply detailed picture of Davros, a lovely reference to some of the rather absurd colours that we used to see within the Target novelisation covers, so here we have a bright red Dalek, because why not? Again, I really love this image of Tom Baker in the very centre. It's a really sharply and crisply detailed photograph. Scattered across the entirety of the inner sleeve, we do have a few quotes in these excellent bubbles, again very vibrant and incredibly eye-catching. In the very centre of the gatefold we have a draconian, because why not? Again, this is kind of a stippled design, so you can really tell all the small details within the costume. Which, as we move over to the opposite side, things are starting to get a little bit more spacious, although we still have some really lovely details. Such as a second Doctor era Tomb of the Cyberman, because why not? I really do love the inaccuracies in this design, again really in keeping with some of those unusual Doctor Who books that you would get when the classic series aired. Again, a really lovely picture, really highlighting the details surrounding the Cyberman, complemented by this excellent sharp lighter blue design. The energy bubble that we have just above the Cyberman again really reminds me of the energy depicted within Achilleos' Target novelisation artworks. Finally, to finish off the inner sleeve, we have the inclusion of some text, including some production details, as well as a few technical details off to the side. So in summary, for the inner sleeve, I absolutely love it. A really unique design, really setting this vinyl apart from the other Doctor Who releases that we've seen over the years. The record sleeve itself is made out of a really nice high quality cardboard, ensuring that the record is kept safe, and of course you have the sleeve presented on the inside. This is of course a double LP release, so records are featured on both sides of the sleeve. But at first glance, the record sleeves are identical, when in reality they do have some very subtle changes. Most notably, we have these quotes going around these sides of the sleeve in a rather circular fashion. These are the bits that are different, so they will differ between the two sleeves. I quite like this actually, because it's very much a nice reference to the LP on the inside of the sleeve, achieved through using a slightly darker shade of red, more reminiscent of the red seen on the front cover of the artwork. TARDIS police box is present in the very centre. This is a really lovely, sharply detailed image. I do believe it is the Barry Newbury TARDIS prop, if I remember rightly. So you have that lovely wood grain texture, and in the very centre, this very dark abyss, because way back in the 70s they didn't have a green screen or anything like that to make the TARDIS look bigger on the inside. The sleeve is really visually striking, but also quite in keeping with the unusual nature of this record as a whole, because the entirety of the design is not really like any of the other Who vinyls that we've seen released over the years. So if you are looking for something a little bit different, then this is most probably a product for you. Turning the record sleeve around to the back, again this is very similar for both of the records within this set, so you have a continuation of that red base. The sleeves are pretty much exactly the same, and we have the inclusion of the 60th anniversary logo, looking very smart indeed. As you would expect with an LP sleeve, in the very middle we have the inclusion of the track list being presented, so here we have LP1, side A and side B. And for the sake of completeness, here is LP2 with side C and side D. Finally, what is a really nice touch is the inclusion of the book covers for both the Doctor Who Annual as well as the Worlds of Doctor Who book, showing how this content originally looked in its original publication many years ago. For those of you who watch my record reviews on a regular basis, you will know I'm often quite picky when it comes to LP sleeves. I like to see some photos or something like that presented upon them, because normally they can be quite minimalistic. But what I will say for this release is that I think it's excellent just the way it is. I think it's really consistent with the cover art on the outer sleeve, and I think that this design has been really nicely brought in to the inside insert of the vinyl itself. Let's face it though, regardless of what the sleeve looks like, its main purpose is to protect the record itself, and that is exactly what it does. So this is the way that I opened this record originally, thinking, oh, this is going to be the light orange vinyl, and then it revealed this underneath. I wasn't expecting it to be divided into two. It turns out I have in fact been misreading the press release this entire time, and both of the LPs within this set are both orange and red simultaneously, which is quite cool. I have previously reviewed another Doctor Who vinyl just like this. I do believe it was the Time Lord Victorious Echoes vinyl, with not the neatest line down the middle, it has to be said. I suppose that adds to kind of the slapdash approach that records tend to have. They're a little bit unique, they're all different in their own way, which is quite nice and really adds to the novelty. On one of the sides we have this lovely, shiny, almost iron brew style orange, which is incredibly vibrant indeed. And then I love the way that the opposite side is really in keeping with the design of the rest of the vinyl sleeve, being this lovely, vibrant red. It's great to see that the vibrant, unique design of the record sleeve has continued onto the inside sticker of the record itself. A lovely, vibrant, orangey colour has been used, and then we have Tom Baker present once again, with of course the LP details off to the side, and it's nice to see the debut of the 60th anniversary logo on the LPs for the first ever time. Just for the sake of completeness, here is both of the records presented within this set side by side. You can certainly see how both of the records are unique in design in their own way. They have a slightly different finish, especially down the centre, and I imagine that due to this split colour scheme, it will look excellent spinning around the turntable. In summary, what do I think of the amazing worlds of Doctor Who vinyl exclusive to Record Store Day for 2023? I think that this record is all about the design, and subsequently Demo Music Group have absolutely gone to town and created what is quite possibly one of the most unique and vibrant looking Doctor Who vinyls that have been released in recent years. It looks like it steps out of the 70s, and you can tell so much effort and precision has gone into amending the artwork to make it suit the record format. I love the consistency throughout the entirety of the record, and I love how the colours are also replicated within the actual vinyl itself, but also the record sleeves are really nice, consistent with that lovely vibrant red, making it an excellent display piece for your Doctor Who collection. With regards to the actual content, I'm currently at my university house, meaning that I don't actually have a turntable to listen to this record, but I think that I can say rather fairly that it is a very niche record, and Doctor Who records themselves are an incredibly niche market, but I think that this is probably nicher than niche, and I think that the vast majority of people are probably going to be buying this for the very, very nice looking cover art rather than the actual content. But if the Amazing Worlds of Doctor Who book publication and the 1976 annual are something that you particularly like, then I imagine that this release will be absolute heaven for you. Thank you very much for watching this rather different Doctor Who record review. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Please do of course stay tuned on The Host Productions for regular Doctor Who content from product reviews, audio drama reviews and much more. Have a nice day. I shall see you all next time.